Who are these Kabul Shahis? Where did they come from? We don't know. What we know and what legends tell is that of a Turk by name Bahra Tegin. Even his origins are not known. Probably he is a governor, but legend tells that he is a Turk from Tibet who emerged out of a cave. He was fully dressed, armed, and made people believe that he is a newborn child who is fully grown up and is destined to be the king. He became the king, and then the stories of Kabul Shahi start from there. But what would have happened is he would have been a local chief or a local governor or someone who used the anger against desecration of Samindwar Sun Temple and led a rebellion, killing the governor in Kabul and took the charge. And from day one, Bharat again he went on an offensive against the Arabs. By 667, his kingdom was partitioned into two. The western province, what we know as the kingdom of Zabul, was formed in 667. Till the last, it was the one which was doing the serious fight. Yes, both the kingdoms combined their armies and operated. In 671, Zaranj, the capital of Sistan itself, was taken, and ultimately the border was stabilized between Zaranj and Zabul, somewhere near Bost. By 710, Baghdis and every other kingdom which was making a fight in the north, all of them collapsed, and it was only the Kabul Shahis and Zabul Shahis who were holding the fort against Islam in that area. If you look at the names, there is one common theme: luck. Who is that luck? What is that luck? We don't know. It can be a tribe name or it can be a family name. We know at least three names. Lakhan Udayaditya. He is a pre-Shahi ruler. The last Kabul Shahi ruler from Kabul is known by the name Lakh-Toraman. The last Zabul Shahi ruler is known by the name Lakhan the Luck in Arab chronicles. Is that a hint towards their identity? We may never know. Over Kabul Shahis, the only information we have today primarily is the wars with Arabs and the Chinese court chronicles. The last known embassy, as it was noted before, is from 753. Even the names of kings are not known, and in some cases only the Chinese variants are known. Because of the frequent wars and because of the frequent disasters which Arabs faced, as early as 720, Sistan area was declared as inauspicious for the Muslims. In fact, before Sindh fell, Sindh area was also like that, and after Sindh fell, Kabul was like that. And now we have one king whose name is Khorasan Tegin Shah. What sort of a name is that? Because Tegin is not a name, but it's a title or something. And Khorasan is the name of one of the two provinces which are established on the borders of Kabul. Is this an open challenge to the Arabs saying that you cannot control me or I am your lord? We don't know. One thing which we can tell here is there is a king by name From Kesar. Again, from is descended from Rome. Caesar, we don't know whether it is from Caesari or from Caesar, we don't know. Other words, Caesar of Rome, which is the Byzantine emperor. He is known to have inflicted some very serious defeats on the Arabs to an extent that there are some Arab coins noticed with From Kesar's name overprinted on them, saying that it is paid as a tribute to him. This From Kesar is the son of Khorasan Tegin Shah. Did both son and father take their titles from the same campaign, or were there different campaigns? We don't know. But this From Kesar is immortalized in history as King Gesar of Lin. He is a folk hero in the whole of steppes, extending from Tibet and Arunachal Pradesh in the south till north of Mongolia. There are both Buddhist versions of the story and non-Buddhist versions of the story. He is a folk hero who became famous because of his defeat of the Arabs. But one thing is known: he was a part of the Chinese Confederacy against Arabs and Tibetans in Central Asia, which contained Lalitaditya of Kashmir, From Kesar, the king of Khotan, and all those things. Even their religion is not known actually. Huyen called them Buddhists. Kalhana called them Kshatriyas. Did they change their religion in the middle, or did they support both the religions equally? We may never know. The king is known either as Zunbil or Rutbil. Zunbil is named after Zun and Zamindwar. Rutbil is named after Al Rukhas, which is the Arab name for the province. Whether this Zunbil is a Sanskrit word, that is also not known. Some person gives the origin of this word as Janapala and Prantapala for Zunbil and Rutbil. If they are Kshatriyas and if they are Indians, it still makes sense. Chinese called the kingdom as Xiu Yuko. Around 680, there was a struggle between Kabul and Zabul, and the king of Zabul had to flee to Sistan for help. Why did it happen? It is not clearly known. One thing we can assume is there was a generation change and there was some friction because of that. Ultimately, this Zabul was also a part of the same confederacy as like that of Khotan, Kabul, Kashmir, China against Tibet and Arabs. In 706, Arabs actually conquered the whole of northern Afghanistan. When they left back, a Hunnic prince who was ruling from Baghdis, he was the prime minister of Tokharistan, he rebelled again. And Arabs had to come back again in 709. And to ensure that there won't be any other troubles later, they created a new garrison at Bukhara. Bukhara and Merv formed the nucleus of this Khorasan province. Arabs left the area by 820, and the kingdom was conquered by Saffarids, a successor of Arabs, by 865. Kabul was still standing. It shifted the capital city to the other side of Khyber, but the kingdom was still there, and it still tried to take Zabul. By 895, Kabul was also out of Afghanistan for good. We don't even know the names of the kings properly. At least there are some names available for Kabul Shahis, but the names of Zabul Shahis is literally unknown. Coming to the names of the kings, the last Mezzukun is Narendra Aditya Kingala, who ruled approximately till 630. We know of an usurper in Kabul, probably a name Yudhishthira, and probably he is the one who was killed in 661 by Barategin. Kabul Shahis, Barategin 680, Khorasan Tegin Shah 680 to 739. See, this was the time when the Zabul Shah fled to Khorasan. Probably this dynastic succession was the one which created a trouble there. From Kesar 739 to 745, his was a very short reign. Notice that his father ruled for 60 years. And Devashahi Kingala is the last name we know. And see, if you notice, all these names are have got Chinese component in that. That means these names are reconstructed from Chinese core chronicles, and after Talas and Anlushan, the link with China broke. With that, the information over the Shah is dried up. There are some random names thrown here and there. Who they are, where did they come from? There is no information whatsoever. Shahi Javula is one. Patidumi is another. Nayanachandra is a name which was noticed in Tochi Valley inscriptions in Waziristan. The problem with this name is, except this name, every other name doesn't seem to be Indian. So, who is this Nayanachandra or Naviyanachandra? Where did he come from? Why did he claim to be a Shahi? And if Nayanachandra is his name, is there a chance that every other thing is a title? Toramana is a known title. Khorasan can be a title. Tegin is already a title. From Kesar is a title. Kingala is also a title. So this single name creates much chaos in the names of these Kabul Shahis. Along with that, especially when we are saying about the Shahi, Javula, Patidumi, all these people, we don't even know whether they are kings or whether they are governors. All we have is some inscriptions or some sort of reference to their name somewhere.